Okay, we're back. Sorry, that was hubby coming in with Timmy's. Our nearest Timmy's is in the next little town over from us. We don't have one, and they've been promising one for like, I don't know, 10 years. And apparently there's some issue with the water, and I don't even know. Whatever. So one of these days we'll get a Timmy's in town. But our village doesn't have one, so you got to go to the next village over. Anyhow, yay, Timmy's. Moving on. Where was I, guys? So, yeah, so talking about how this has all been just about me so far, and not much has been said about fonts, and how it's all been, oh, poor me, and this accident, and this, and that, and it's, like I said in the beginning, we're going to have to go through some ugly shit, just in order to help you guys understand what's happened in our lives in the last 2.5 years, and so thereby how we've now gotten to this point now where we are just trying to find a new normal, and move forward with it with what we've been left with. So when I say that, I don't mean to sound all dramatic, but I mean what we've been left with physically, emotionally, financially, in every possible way. So our lives are certainly nothing like they were before any of this happened, as I'm sure you all saw from our wedding videos and, various other stuff of us fishing and swimming and boating and, yeah. So, all of that being said, we shall move on to today's little topic. Sorry, I'm propping myself here. Me old back. As I said, I can't keep things organized, like at all. Like I can't even organize myself enough to keep looking at the flippin' thing. So, oh, pardon me. There are lists. There will be a lot of lists. I have to do this or I will not be able to keep things straight, and I'll just keep jumping around, and it's just not going to make any sense. And then I'll forget stuff and be, oh my God, I forgot to say this. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, I gotta, there's lists. So we shall start with the fact that my injuries do fall under several different categories. So the obvious being physical. I guess it goes without saying that there was a lot of emotional and mental damage done as well. And the financial damage, again, that's just pretty much obvious. I mean, when you both work full time, working your asses off, but you literally live paycheck to paycheck, just like the rest of us do. I mean, we never had money to throw around. We were certainly comfortable. The kids are all grown and gone. It's just the two of us. Yeah, comfortable. I would say comfortable was the right word. But no, I mean, God forbid the car should break down or someone's like, oh my God, it's going to cost $700 to fix it. Blah, what are we going to do? Like pretty much anybody I know. I don't really know anybody rich. So pretty much, right? So, when first of all, it was just me, that was in the accident and then went back on modified duties, as I said, for about 4 months, and then was taken off of work completely. And financially, it's obviously just catastrophic, just devastating. Without getting into figures and numbers, and I'm not going to get into all of that. I am currently receiving about half of what my income was when I was able to work. So it's certainly a blow financially. And then of course Fonts took sick, and then, there's obviously the financial aspects of that. But we're not going to get into talking about money and dollars and cents, because it's just, I don't know, it's not appropriate. So anyhow, so physical injuries for me were literally from head to toe. If you have watched part 4, I think it's in part 4 of yesterday's videos about, how I had braced myself as hard as I could, knowing that the steering wheel is here, when I'm driving, it's not far from me, and knowing that if I didn't brace, that my face was gonna, smash off the steering wheel. In bracing, it may have caused further injury. it may have prevented further injury. I honestly don't know. And I think it's just a natural reaction to, I mean, if you were just walking across the floor right now and you went to trip and fall down, your hands are going to shoot out to catch yourself. You're not just going to, unless you faint, you're not going to allow yourself to go boom and land on your nose. Of course not. Your reflexes and your instincts, your sense of self-preservation is going. Your hands are just going to shoot out. I mean, a 1-year-old does it, you know. So, anyways, that was just you know, kind of instinctual reaction to kind of brace myself. But so the injuries, yeah, the injuries were basically from head to toe. So again, if you saw part 4, there was some very cursory X-rays done at the time on the day of the accident. And he literally told me to go home, take some ibuprofen, have a hot bath, and that I should be fine. No shit. I'm not even kidding you. That's just insane. As I say, I had been triaged. He was well aware that I hadn't been in some little, you know, fender bender at a 4-way stop or something, or somebody had bumped into me in the grocery store parking lot. He certainly was well aware of, unless someone didn't chart properly, you know, of the high rate of speed and me sitting still and, you know, the whole business. So anyway, so I had an MRI done. This was actually, gosh, let me think. I started physiotherapy about a month after the accident, and the reason for that was because they were so booked. So yeah, I sat here and stiffened up, and I literally, as I said, I know I'm repeating myself, guys. I'm really sorry. I forewent on the rental vehicle that I would have been entitled to, you know, until I'd purchased a new vehicle, simply because there's no sense in having some shiny new car sitting in my driveway. I couldn't make a fist. I mean, my hands were like this, like claws, and I couldn't, you know what I mean, make a fist like to grip something. I couldn't turn my head any more than maybe about there, and that was it. Couldn't look up, couldn't look down, couldn't stand or walk without my husband's assistance. I remember, and I might laugh about it now, but I might actually cry. I don't really know what I'll do. The second night, like day 2 after the accident, and of course he was having to do, you know, everything, and he's still working, obviously. And he came home and we had some, you know, frozen lasagna. This is back in the day when I ate like that. In the freezer. He just chucked that in the oven. You know, it was good enough. It was quick. It was whatever. And I remember trying to eat, and I couldn't grip my fork. I'm left-handed, and I couldn't close my hand enough to grip a fork. And we're sitting there with, you know, with our plates in front of us, and I'm trying to eat, and I can't hold the fork. And then I finally did manage to, I don't know what I did. I fandangled in between these 2 fingers, or I don't remember what I did, but I managed to somehow grip it enough. I think I had my thumb pressed on it, if you guys can kind of see that. Anyway, and then, I mean, you should be able to, you know, a well-cooked lasagna noodle, you should be able to just sort of cut it with the side of your fork. You shouldn't really, you know, need a knife or anything. And it was well done, and it was nice and soft. And I couldn't apply the pressure that was necessary for my fork to cut that lasagna noodle. And I just dropped my fork, and I just sat there with my head down and just bawled my heart out. I mean, I've spent the better part of 20 years feeding people, you know, and now it's me on the other end, and I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for me to be the patient now, and me to be the one who needed something as simple as, you know, being fed. That I couldn't grip a fork or a spoon, and then, you know, had I managed to grip it, had I managed to cut that lasagna noodle, I'm not even sure how I would have gotten it to my mouth, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I couldn't raise my arms away from my sides. Yeah, it was bad. And a few days after that, I remember going into the bathroom, and I mean, this is me being stubborn, and I'm independent, and I don't need anybody's goddamn help. Stubborn. I knew that I had some A535 or something, some kind of rub, in the bathroom, in the vanity under the bathroom sink. So I went in there to get that and couldn't really bend, obviously, at the waist. And something, for some reason, because, you know, I'm nuts, decided that I was going to squat down and, you know, find this in the, I have little baskets in there. I'm a super organizational freaknoid. Little OCD going on there. And I knew exactly where it was, what basket it was in. So I squatted down, and I, you know, I was like, oh God, you know, trying to get down there. And I got down and I saw it. It was, of course, in the furthest basket away from me at the back of the natch, right? And I managed to get a hold of it and I got it back out. And then I realized I was stuck. And this is one of those, you're either going to laugh your ass off or bawl your eyes out, because it's either the funniest fucking thing you've ever heard or the most pathetic, pitiful, heartbreaking thing you've ever seen in your life. So thank God Fonz was home, obviously. So I was, you know, here I am squatted in front of the vanity, and I had my hands up like where the sink is, right? And I'm in like a full deep squat, you know, my bum's this far from the floor, and I couldn't move. I couldn't move. I couldn't pull myself up with my arms, because I'm surprised my arms were up that high, to be honest with you. I think they were kind of stuck up there, actually, like, you know, clawed onto the sink. And I couldn't push with my legs to stand myself up. And I've gained 20 pounds since I've been at home, which sucks. And we'll talk about that in a later video, about my, you know, decision to become a vegan and, you know, what I do to take care of myself now today. That's where the new normal comes in. That's where the positive starts to come in, how we take care of ourselves now today, how we live so much differently than we used to, and the things that we do to take care of each other and take care of ourselves. But anyway, where was I? Okay, yeah, so at that time, I might have weighed maybe 140 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. Like I said, I'm pretty petite. I'm like 5'2", 5'2.5" if I'm lucky. And big in the bust. Sorry, but I am. And the rest of me is pretty tiny. And, yeah, like it's not that I'm a, you know, a big heavy person that I couldn't pull myself. I just physically could not pull myself up, with my arms, nor push with my legs. I think under normal circumstances, you would have sort of pulled and pushed at the same time and stand up, way you go. So Fonz is in the living room, and I'm, you know, the bathroom door was open, and I'm calling from the bathroom. I'm saying, honey, you know, and he's like, what's wrong? And he got up and came running. And this is, of course, you know, the year before he took sick. And he says, where are you? And I said, I'm in the bathroom. So he said, well, what's going on? Are you all right? And I said, I'm, you know, yeah, like I'm in the bathroom. So anyway, he came in and he finds me there, in a full deep crouch in front of the sink. And he says, what the fuck are you doing? And I said, I'm trying to get the heat, Rob. I need you to put some on my back. Like, oh my God. And I'm just bawling because I'm in extreme pain, like a 8 or a 9, and also frustrated, angry, sad, and I feel pitiful. I just feel pitiful, you know, because I can't get myself up out of this squat. So he managed to, I can't even remember now. Honestly, this is my memory now. I'm trying to think if I think he tried, like he sort of grabbed me, you know, under the arms and was trying to help me stand. And I was going, ow, no, stop. And I think we finally he had to get behind me and hold on to me, like around, you know, just sort of around below the boobs. And, you know, sort of get me to gently release my hands from up on the sink and sort of gently put me down onto my bottom, which was not good, and we'll get into that later. And then I think he had to help me turn over onto my hands and knees, and then from there, I don't remember. I can't remember if I had to like literally crawl out of the bathroom, and then he had to help me, you know, get up. It was bad. So anyway, where am I here? So I had I had started physiotherapy. That's what I was going to say. I'm just looking at my notes here, guys. I had started physiotherapy about a month post-accident, and my physiotherapist at the time was absolutely wonderful. And again, I'm not going to get into names because I don't have people's permission to actually use their names. So I just feel like it's, not appropriate unless somebody had said, yeah, sure. Anyway, she was absolutely amazing. I loved her. And, right away, she said to me, there's some funky crap going on in your neck. She said there's a lot of crunching and grinding and some weird stuff going on. I had a lot of loss of sensation. Yeah, so she said, you know what, I am really not comfortable. I will work on your back and, we'll work on what we can do with that. But I'm really not comfortable doing anything with your neck. And she said, I'm going to also speak to I almost spilled my Timmies. Can you imagine? Like, that's it. You just, the physiotherapist as well, physiotherapist, Jesus Christ, massage therapist as well, was really, kind of, I think a little bit hesitant maybe to do much with my neck at that point. We didn't really know what was going on inside my neck. Again, like I said, it had these, quick little cursory x-rays that I don't even know who the hell looked at and said, go home, take a bath, you'll be fine. Have some ibuprofen. So anyway, she had sent me for an MRI, and there was more discoveries, and that's tomorrow's video. That's the tumor. Anyway, so what it showed in my neck was that C4 and C5 right here are knocked out of line towards the right. So I know there's lots of my medical friends watching this, and there's a lot of people that have no clue what I'm talking about. It's like, talk to me about legal stuff, the law, legal schlemeagle crap. It's like, you might as well be speaking Chinese. I mean, I just, forget it. Anyway, okay, so the way that your vertebrae are shaped, you got your vertebrae, well, I guess it's hard for, you know what I mean, stacked one on top of the other all the way up your spine. Ouch. There are little, like if this is your vertebrae, this little round bit here, God, I can't even do it right. Okay, so if this is your vertebrae here, this little round thing, right? Off of each side of your vertebrae are little, they're almost like a little round hook, like so and like so. Little, like a little U-shaped, horseshoe-shaped bone. And that is called a neural foramen. And that's where your nerve bundles run down through that, right? So down the center of your vertebrae is where your spinal cord is. Down your, in these neural foramens are where your nerve bundles run down, right? So this C4 and C5 being knocked out of, kilter, and it's not by a lot. It's honestly not by a lot. But the neck is a very, very delicate structure, and it doesn't take a lot, really to kind of, even just slightly, pushed out of line, and pushing on stuff it shouldn't be pushing on is going to cause some big issues. So, because the vertebrae are knocked out of line, the neural foramen now are pushing that bundle of nerves that goes down in between it is now kind of being tracted off, to the side. So, I'm pressing on the nerve bundles. And at that level, there's a lot of things that it can affect. It's not, if you had a spinal cord injury, an injury that high would be, you would be quadriplegic, from the jaw down, collarbones down kind of thing. Pardon me, but if it's more of a nerve injury or an injury to your spine that doesn't involve your spinal cord, that's the word I'm looking for, where there's no paralysis, it's just that there's been damage to the bones and the nerves in that area. So some of the stuff that it can affect, if you had a spinal cord injury, you definitely would be, like I said, I'm repeating myself, aren't I, guys? You would be quadriplegic. You would not be able to breathe on your own because your diaphragm is way the heck down here, and that would be paralyzed. Your heart rate yeah, there would be a lot of problems. So with nerve damage at this level, there's a lot of things that from there down it can affect. Obviously, whatever's below where the level of damage is where the effect from the damage is going to be. So I just made some quick notes here. I will forget everything. So shoulder movement. A lot of it is like to shrug. I can shrug a bit now, but we're 2.5 years later. So shoulder movement, arm and wrist movement, hand movement, finger movement, muscle weakness, problems with, and this is a big ones for me, boy, your scapula, which is your shoulder blade, your rhomboid, which is a strip of muscle that runs down between your shoulder blade, is shaped like that, and here's your spine, right? This is your spine, this is your shoulder blade. Up in between that is well, there's a lot of muscles in there, but there is a muscle in there called a rhomboid. And that, if I could get somebody to just, I don't know, take the end of a I don't even know what, like take 2 knuckles or I don't know, something that big that's as hard as a rock, stab me and just push as hard as you can and apply steady pressure and leave it there for the rest of my life. I have a spot in my rhomboid muscle that's about that big that hurts constantly. It's bad. It's really bad. Yeah, the rhomboids, the traps, the